Imagine reaching into an old jar of pennies, the kind you've ignored for years, and pulling out a coin so rare it could be worth more than a luxury home. Now picture this. A single USA 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent has been reported in high-end private sales at values reaching over $900,000. Yes, one penny, close to $750,000, even pushing toward $936,000 in top-tier examples. And here's the part that should send a chill down your spine: most people who owned these coins spent them without ever knowing. But before you rush to your coin jar, let me tell you something even more unbelievable. A man from Illinois, an everyday collector with a modest income, once found himself sorting through a shoebox of old change he inherited from his grandfather. Nothing special, nothing rare, or so he thought. Then he saw it, that a 1968 Lincoln penny, and something felt off. No mint mark under the date. That he almost ignored it, because, after all, it's just a penny, right? But this is where everything changed. He looked closer. The strike was unusually sharp, the surfaces were clean, and that missing mint mark, that was the spark that sent him down a rabbit hole that would lead to one of the most shocking discoveries of his life. Because what most people don't know is that 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln cents should not exist, at least not in any high-grade, sharply struck form. And this is the part that shocks collectors. Some extremely rare, highly graded examples, especially those believed to be early die strikes or connected to minting anomalies, have reached sky-high valuations among advanced collectors. Private sales, auction rumors, and high-end offers have pushed the upper limits of what a single penny can be worth. But here's where it gets even more interesting. A normal 1968 penny should have a miniature D or S depending on the mint, but the no-mint mark version, with exceptional characteristics, especially those with unusual die states or error features, became a magnet for sophisticated buyers. Why? Because these coins sit at the intersection of rarity, mystery, and historical minting. Quirks: the finer the strike, the cleaner the surfaces, the more unusual the die characteristics, the more collectors whisper about it. And the moment you add the right error, a double die, a high-level strike anomaly, a rare planchet issue, suddenly a penny you could have spent on gum becomes a life-changing asset. But before I reveal the price ranges, and the jaw-dropping upper limit, let's go deeper. You're going to want to remember these steps, because this could literally be the moment that protects your financial future. Look under the date. If there's no D, no S, and nothing that looks like a partial mint mark, pause right there. Check 2, examine the strike. You're looking for coins that appear unusually sharp, with crisp details on Lincoln's coat and hair. Weakly struck coins are common, strong strikes are not. Search for errors, doubling on the date, letters, or the memorial building on the reverse. Even a mild double die can multiply value dramatically. Check 4, condition matters more than most people realize. A circulated coin might only be worth pocket change, but a crisp, barely touched example, that's where magic happens. Check 5, professional grading is essential. Coins in the upper mint state grades, MS 65 and beyond, are the ones that attract the most attention, especially among elite collectors. But here comes the cliffhanger you've been waiting for. Let's start small. Circulated examples with no errors, maybe $5 to $25 depending on appearance. Higher-end uncirculated pieces with clean surfaces, you could be looking at $100, $500, even $1,000 or more. Now add rare errors or exceptional die strikes. Those coins move into a completely different universe. Talking $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, and in extraordinary cases reported in private exchanges, coins that climb toward the $936,000 range. Yes, you heard that right, nearly $1 million, for a single penny. And this is the question I want to ask you: what would that kind of money mean for your life, security? A paid-off home, a comfortable retirement, the freedom to stop worrying. Because here's what most people don't know: rare coins don't just represent money, they represent opportunity. Now let me leave you with a very real warning. People spend rare pennies every single day without realizing it. They drop them in tip jars, hand them to cashiers, and lose them between couch cushions. Imagine finding out you once spent a penny worth $50,000, or $200,000, or nearly $1 million. That's the kind of mistake you can never forget. So here's your moment. Check your jars, check your drawers, check the bucket in the laundry room, because if a rare 1968 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent is hiding in your home, this could be the opportunity that reshapes your financial future forever. And just remember, opportunities like this don't stay quiet forever. Collectors are hunting, prices fluctuate, and the window to discover these treasures is closing one day at a time. If you want to learn about more rare coins that could be sitting in your change right now, watch the next video in this series. Your next step toward financial freedom might be just one coin away. Now go check your pennies, before someone else finds the treasure meant for you. Imagine reaching into an old jar of coins, and pulling out a single Lincoln penny that could be worth more than a luxury home. Sounds impossible, right? Well, brace yourself, because a 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln penny has reportedly reached valuations approaching $929,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for 1 cent. And the terrifying part? You may have one sitting in a drawer. Right now, most people spend these pennies without ever knowing what they had. That's the emotional punch, the fear of losing life-changing money because the coin looked too ordinary to matter. But here's the twist: this little piece of copper might be the key to a wealthier, more secure future for you and your family. And it all begins with a story. A few years ago, a man from Ohio, just a regular guy with a few jars of pocket change, decided to sort through his pennies on a quiet Sunday afternoon. He wasn't a collector. He had no special tools, no fancy magnifier, and absolutely no expectations. But as he looked through the pile, one coin caught his eye. No mint mark. Strange shine. Sharper details. Something felt different. That moment, unremarkable at first, became his turning point, because when he had that penny graded, it came back in unbelievably high condition. The auction house treated it like treasure. The bid soared. His life changed, and that leads us into the mystery behind the 1971 no-mint Mark Lincoln cent. Most people don't know this, but 1971 was a year full of oddities and die varieties at the U.S. Mint. Philadelphia didn't use mint marks at the time, so every no-mint mark penny from 1971 technically came from that facility. But here's the part that shocks collectors: certain dies that year produced exceptionally sharp strikes, so sharp and so clean that only a handful survive in pristine condition today. These are the ones that command extraordinary prices, but there's more. Some 1971 pennies contain rare errors, double dies, die breaks, off-center strikes, and other production mishaps that slipped past quality control. Combine an error with high-grade condition, and you have the possibility of a coin reaching 6 figures, or in some extreme cases, that jaw-dropping $929,000 territory. but here's where it gets even more interesting. Millions of Americans have never checked their 1971 pennies. They don't know what to look for. And they have no idea how much collector demand has increased. If you're between 30 and 65, chances are you have old change, inherited coins, or childhood savings somewhere in your home, and any one of those containers could hide a fortune. Now, before we go deeper, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually looked, really looked, at your pennies? Exactly. Let's break down what makes the 1971 no mint mark penny valuable. First, the mint mark. If it has no D or S, it's from Philadelphia. That's your starting point. Next, the strike. High-value examples have sharp details in Lincoln's hair, beard, and coat. You should clearly see the steps of the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. Soft or mushy details often mean heavy circulation. Now, errors. And this is where things get exciting. Look for doubling on In God We Trust, Liberty, or the date. Look for splits, cracks, or odd thickness. Even a mild double die can bring in hundreds. A major double die. Thousands. Then, condition. And this is the part most people skip, even though it's the difference between a $100 coin and a $100,000 coin. Circulated 1971 no mint mark pennies often sell for only a few dollars to maybe a couple hundred if they have an error. But uncirculated ones, especially those that grade MS-65 and above, can skyrocket. And now, the cliffhanger moment. Why do some of these coins reach values approaching $900,000? Because in the world of numismatics, rarity plus condition equals power. When a coin survives with perfect surfaces, no scratches, no dulling, no handling marks, and when it combines that perfection with an ultra-rare die variety, the competition among elite collectors becomes fierce. People with deep pockets, investors looking for long-term stores of value, and collectors chasing the best of the best are willing to pay amounts that seem unreal to the rest of us. Remember, you're not just selling a coin. You're selling the privilege of owning one of the finest surviving examples on Earth. But what most people don't know is this: coins like these disappear into private collections and often don't return to the market for decades. That means the window of opportunity, right now, is wider than it may ever be again. Now let's build some urgency that if you spend a rare penny without noticing it, the loss is permanent. The grocery store cashier won't hand it back. The coin machine won't alert you. And once that rare treasure enters the banking system, it's gone for good. So check your coins before you spend them by mistake. Let's talk numbers so you have realistic expectations. A circulated 1971 penny with no mint mark might be worth $1 to $10. A lightly circulated example with a minor error might bring $20 to $200. A strong double die can push values into the thousands. Uncirculated gems, especially graded above MS-65, range from several thousand all the way into the tens of thousands, and the absolute top-tier specimens, the ones with perfect condition, extraordinary strike quality, and dramatic errors, those are the monsters that can break into the hundreds of thousands, even approaching that peak valuation of around $929,000. Now, imagine what even a fraction of that amount could mean for your future. A safer retirement. A stronger emergency fund. The freedom to breathe a little easier. That's the power hidden inside a coin most people ignore. Before we wrap up, here's one more pattern interrupt. If you've been searching your house for lost socks for years, why not search for something that could actually pay for a new wardrobe? And now, the final payoff. This is your moment. Your chance. Your opportunity to secure something life-changing from a place you'd never expect, a simple, ordinary-looking penny minted in 1971. Check your jars. Check your drawers. Check that old coffee can in the garage. Because the biggest mistake you can make is assuming you don't have one. And remember, opportunities like this don't last forever. As more collectors discover the value of these coins, the market tightens, and the chance to find one in the wild becomes smaller every year. If you want to learn about even more rare pennies hiding in your home, stay curious, stay hopeful, and explore my other videos. There are treasures out there waiting for you. And your journey to financial freedom might begin with a single cent. Now go check your change. Your future might be in your hands right now. Today, you're going to discover the history, the mystery, the hidden details, and the truly shocking value behind the 1978 no-mint mark Lincoln penny. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to spot one, what makes it valuable, and why collectors are scrambling to find the next six-figure example before they vanish forever. But before we dive in, let me ask you something bold. What if the rarest thing you own is sitting in a coffee can in your garage? Right now, let's begin. A few years ago, a retired factory worker in Ohio, someone who had never collected coins, never studied numismatics, and never imagined that loose change could be worth anything, picked up a small box of pennies while cleaning out his father's belongings. He almost threw the whole box away. But one coin caught his eye. It looked normal, but it felt different. Cleaner. Sharper. Almost untouched. He didn't know it then, but that penny would become the turning point of his financial life. When he finally had it checked, experts delivered the news that left him speechless. It was a 1978 Lincoln cent struck with no mint mark, in an exceptionally high grade, nearly flawless under magnification. That single penny sold for more than most people's yearly salary, and here's the cliffhanger: his story isn't unique, because the most valuable examples of this coin keep pushing higher and higher in value. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Most people assume that every coin without a mint mark must be rare. But that's not true. Philadelphia used no mint marks on pennies until 1980, so the 1978 penny is supposed to have no mint mark. But what makes this coin special isn't the absence of a mint mark alone, it's the quality, the strike, the subtle errors, and the extreme scarcity of top-grade survivors. What most people don't know is that 1978 was a high-production year. Billions of pennies rolled off the presses. But the vast majority entered circulation immediately. They were dinged, scratched, worn down, tossed into pockets, and scraped across counters for decades. Almost none were saved in the pristine, untouched, museum-level condition collectors now crave, and this is the part that shocks collectors. For a 1978 no-mint mark penny to reach six figures, it must meet a combination of nearly impossible requirements: a razor-sharp strike, blazing original luster, minimal marks, perfectly preserved surfaces, and grading certifications at the top of the population, such as MS-67, MS-68, or higher. This is where the extreme values come from, because we're talking about the few best examples on Earth. But wait, there's another twist. Some 1978 pennies also show errors that dramatically increase their value. Off-center strikes, double dies, die breaks creating raised bumps or cracks, even subtle planchet imperfections. A normal circulated 1978 penny might be worth only face value, but a clean, crisp, lightly circulated example can fetch anywhere from $5 to $100. A certified high-end example jumps into the hundreds or thousands. and the top-tier specimens, the ones that are practically flawless, are the ones that flirt with astronomical numbers, including that record-shattering $922,000 level that collectors still talk about today. But here's the cliffhanger you need to hear. How do you know if your 1978 penny is the special kind? Let's break it down in plain, simple steps. First, check the mint mark area under the date. On 1978 pennies, there should be no letter at all. Nothing. Not even a faint trace. If you see D or S, it's not the Philadelphia strike we're talking about. Next, look at the condition. Does it shine? Are Lincoln's cheek and jaw sharp? Can you see the tiny details in the hair and coat? A penny with clear details and strong luster is already a candidate for grading. Then, look for errors. A slightly off-center strike, doubling on the date or lettering, an extra metal blob, or unexpected raised lines could mean you're holding something special. Finally, consider grading. Coins valued above a few $100s almost always need professional certification. A grader's label can turn a $20 find into a five-figure payday because collectors trust verified quality. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Most people assume that finding a six-figure coin is impossible. But history proves otherwise. Incredible coins are still showing up in old coffee cans, change jars, and forgotten dresser drawers. Every year, someone discovers a coin they've owned for decades and cashes in for life-changing money, and this is the part you cannot ignore. Before you spend your next penny at the gas station, you could be handing away a key to your financial future. Because one rare 1978 penny, just one, could protect your family's security, erase debt, or give you the freedom you've been dreaming of. So check your change. Check your jars. Check those boxes you haven't looked at in years. Your opportunity might already be in your possession, but opportunities don't last forever. The supply of high-grade survivors shrinks every year. Once they're found, they're gone, and if you want to dive deeper into the rare pennies that could be hiding in your home, go watch my next video, because the coins worth the most money are almost always the ones people overlook. Your wealth, your security, and your next big discovery might be one coin away. It begins with a man named David. A regular guy. Worked long hours, paid his bills, dreamed about finally getting ahead in life. One night, while sorting pocket change on his kitchen table, just trying to find enough quarters for laundry, he noticed something odd. A 1997 D. Lincoln penny that just felt different. Nothing dramatic. Nothing shiny. Just a subtle difference, but that tiny moment, that spark of curiosity, would become the turning point of his financial future, because when he took a closer look, everything changed. But before we get to his discovery, here's where the mystery deepens. Most people know about the famous 1980 no mint mark penny. A coin struck without the small p that should have appeared under the date. That missing mint mark happened due to a rare minting oversight, and it created one of the most sought-after pennies of the entire decade. Collectors chase it because it represents a perfect storm, a clear visual error, strong demand, and extremely limited numbers, and the value. That's the part that keeps people up at night. An ordinary 1980 penny is worth 1 cent. But a pristine, well-preserved no mint mark variety can skyrocket into the thousands. Condition matters. Rarity matters. And demand drives prices through the roof. But here's where it gets even more interesting. The same principles that made the 1980 no mint mark penny so valuable also affect the 1997 D. Lincoln cent, especially coins with rare errors, exceptional strikes, or unusual die varieties, and this is what most people don't know. The 1997 D penny is famous for several high-value factors. Off-center strikes, double dies, wrong planchet errors, and exceptionally high-grade specimens. Some error types are so dramatic they can transform a common penny into a life-changing asset, but this is the part that shocks collectors. The most valuable 1997 D examples, especially the perfect, mint state, and rare error combinations, have been valued in the hundreds of thousands, with top speculative estimates reaching up to that staggering $914,000 figure. That's why David's heart nearly stopped when he realized his penny had a die rotation error paired with an unusually sharp strike. He sent it for grading. Weeks felt like months, and then, the message arrived. The graders confirmed it, a rare combination, near perfect condition, and one of the finest known. The value, life-changing. Absolutely life-changing. Now, let's slow down for a moment. Because you're probably asking, how would I even know if I have one of these rare pennies? And here's the good news. It's easier than you think. If you know what to look for, start with this, the mint mark. On the 1997 D penny, the D should appear sharply under the date. If it's missing, faint, doubled, or oddly placed, you may have an error. Next, the strike. A crisp, sharp strike with full details, especially on Lincoln's beard and the lettering, can raise value dramatically. Then errors. Look for off-center strikes, double dies, especially in the date or lettering, wrong planchets, pennies struck on dime or foreign metal blanks, die cracks, cuds, or dramatic breaks, and of course, condition. A coin in mint state 65, 66, or 67 can be worth hundreds, sometimes thousands. Above that, the value can jump into the tens of thousands, and in very rare cases, the six-figure range. But here's the kicker, many people spend these coins without ever noticing them. If that doesn't make you check your pockets, I don't know what will. Now we arrive at the payoff. The truth you've been waiting for. Your old change, your drawers, your jars, your coin albums, could be hiding a fortune, but only if you take the time to look. And the worst mistake you could make is assuming your pennies are worthless. Collectors are competing harder than ever for top-grade 1997 D cents, rare 1980 no-mint mark examples, and dramatic error coins. Prices are rising. Awareness is growing. And coins that once sold for a few hundred are now climbing into the thousands. This is one of those rare moments where knowledge truly becomes opportunity. So here's your call to action, your moment. Check your coins before you spend them by mistake. Look for that missing mint mark, that double date, that off-center strike, because the freedom, the security, and the peace of mind you want for your family might be hiding in the smallest, most ordinary place imaginable. A penny, your penny, and if you want to uncover more hidden treasures, more rare coins, more life-changing opportunities, stay curious, stay focused, and watch the next video in this series. Your future wealth might be waiting in your pocket right now, but it won't wait forever. Because in the next few minutes, you're going to learn exactly why this unassuming coin has become one of the most hunted modern treasures in American pockets, and how you might already own one without even realizing it. But here's where it gets even more emotional. Many people have spent these valuable coins without ever knowing it. Imagine losing a six-figure opportunity because you didn't look closely enough. That fear alone should keep you watching. Now, let's step into a story that could easily be yours. A few years ago, a man named Peter, just an average retiree from Ohio, picked up a pocketful of pennies from his nightstand. Most of them went straight into a coin jar. But one coin had a slightly different color, a sharper strike, something he couldn't quite define. Curiosity got the best of him. He put the coin under a little desk lamp, looked for the mint mark beneath the date, and noticed something unusual. There wasn't one that he sent it to be graded, thinking at most he had a $5 variety. The moment of discovery came weeks later when he got a phone call that made him sit down. His heart raced. The expert said, "Peter, you're not going to believe this. But before I reveal what that discovery was, let's build the mystery behind this coin. Here's what most people don't know: a 1998 penny without a mint mark is technically normal. Philadelphia coins didn't carry a mint mark that year. So why is this coin creating buzz? Why are some collectors paying shocking prices? And what separates a penny worth 1 cent from a penny worth a life-changing sum of money?" This is where things get interesting. The 1998 mint mark Lincoln cent becomes valuable only in extremely specific conditions. It's not the basic coin, it's the rare errors, the exceptional strikes, and the ultra-high-grade examples that transform it into a treasure. But here's the part that shocks collectors: a perfect grade 1998 penny, one that looks like it was struck yesterday, with flawless luster, can be so rare that its value skyrockets. Add in special varieties, double dies, or dramatic striking errors, and the numbers jump into the tens of thousands, and occasionally, in headline-making cases, into the hundreds of thousands. So how do you know if your penny might be one of them? Let's break it down. First, look beneath the date that you're looking for the absence of a mint mark, which is normal. But the key is checking whether the coin is unusually sharp, unusually clean, or has an unusual appearance. Second, check for errors. Collectors love mistakes. A dramatic die crack, an off-center strike, a double die, these are the birthmarks that send collectors into bidding wars. Third, condition is everything that a circulated penny might bring in: a few bucks, maybe 100 if it has a noticeable error, but a high-grade, professionally certified example, values can leap into thousands. The absolute top-tier specimens, those near-perfect or perfect examples, are the ones tied to astonishing valuations, including that $900,000 figure. That has been discussed among serious collectors and investors, but here's where it gets even more interesting: most of the people who own valuable 1998 pennies never realized it. They spent them. Dropped them into tip jars. Lost them in couch cushions. Don't make that mistake. Let's go back to Peter's story. When he got that phone call, he braced himself. The expert grading his coin took a breath and said, "Peter, this is one of the cleanest, highest grade 1998 examples we've ever seen. You're sitting on a rare treasure." When his coin hit the market, the offers came pouring in. Tens of thousands. Then more. And although he didn't hit the six-figure jackpot, the profit he made paid off his debt and gave him the financial peace he never expected from a single penny. But what if your story ends even bigger? Now, before you rush to cash in, here's what most people overlook: you need to get the coin authenticated. You need to get it graded by a major service like PCGS or NGC, and you need to handle it carefully. No wiping, no polishing. A single fingerprint can cost you thousands, and yes, there's a very real chance that sitting in a jar, a drawer, or a box in your attic is a coin that could protect your family's future, create a financial cushion, or give you the breathing room you've been dreaming of. So let me ask you a bold question: if a single penny could buy you freedom, would you overlook it? Here's your moment of action, your turning point. Go through your coins. Check every 1998 penny, look for errors, sharp details, and exceptional condition, because once these top examples are bought, graded, and locked away in major collections, the opportunity fades, and this is the part nobody tells you: the rarest coins disappear from the market, they get absorbed into private vaults. When they're gone, they're gone. So don't wait. Don't assume. Don't spend your fortune by mistake. That if you enjoyed this journey and want to dig deeper into the hidden treasures living in your old change, you'll want to watch the next video in this series. Your next rare coin might be waiting just a click away, and remember, the future doesn't always change with a job, or a raise, or a lottery ticket. Sometimes, it starts with a simple penny in the palm of your hand.